Honestly, after the way last season ended and how disappointing it was, I promised myself I would not get caught up in any offseason hype. I promised that I wouldn't let myself become too emotionally invested into a Cleveland team, but we all know that is nearly impossible, and the Cavs just made a huge trade earlier today where they sent Isaac Okoro to the Chicago Bulls and got Lonzo Ball in return. Yes, you heard that right, Lonzo Ball in return. And while Lonzo kinda has not been relevant for a while, he's just been super hurt, he has gone through some awful injuries, we still have not gotten to see what he really can be. And until he plays for an extended period of time in a row, he will always be labeled as an injury-prone player. But Lonzo Ball, the basketball player, he has all the tools to pretty much solve every single problem the Cleveland Cavaliers have in terms of size in the backcourt. Like, literally having Lonzo Ball now allows the Garland and Mitchell thing to work, if he is on the court, and again, I know that is a big if. This trade kind of came out of nowhere, but I love it. I didn't think the Cavs would even be able to get an early second round pick for Okoro. In the current landscape of the NBA, he does not have much value other than his youth and defense. So to get a guy like Lonzo Ball, injury prone or not, just in terms of the tools and potential he gives this team, this was an A+ trade. But as for excited and pumped up I am about this trade, I'm a little sad at the same time because I think you all know what this move kind of signals. Obviously, bringing Ty Jerome back is still possible. It would take a lot, but it's possible. This seems like a move the Cavs front office made in preparation to lose Ty Jerome to free agency. He has said before that he wants to return to Cleveland, but at the end of the day, business is business and money talks. Ty Jerome has earned this opportunity to really get paid, and if I were him, I would take it. You don't work your whole life to get to this point and not finally take the payday once you have the chance to. So I would not be mad at Ty Jerome for leaving, but I don't think people truly realize how good and impactful he was all season long. In terms of efficiency, he was one of the best players in the entire league during the regular season, which is absolutely crazy. Obviously, you want to see that translate to the playoffs, and he absolutely choked. I'll admit that. He was the worst player on the court for both teams in the Indiana series, but we as a fan base have to cut him slack. That was his first playoffs ever, and you can say the playoff pressure doesn't affect you, but if it's your first time, it most definitely will. It's almost a brand new sport. The physicality is different, the way the pace is played and the way the game moves along is different, the officiating is different. It's a brand new ball game, so honestly, I can move past the playoff performance. I'm gonna miss Ty Jerome a lot if he ends up being gone. But again, Lonzo Ball is a huge get. He's a guy when healthy in 2022 that put up over 14 points a game on 42% shooting from beyond the arc, but even more than that, it's the size, frame, and the defense. This is a guy that can get chased down blocks, his length will make up for the undersized guards, and you can be known for great defense like Isaac Okoro, but you can also be Lonzo Ball, a point guard that is 6'6", who just naturally is a good defender. Okoro was 6'5", but he played small forward and he really could not shoot. Maybe he could knock down a few open corner threes in meaningless games in the regular season, but he could not shot create, he didn't space the floor well, he was an offensive liability, which is why he barely got minutes, especially in big games. But Lonzo Ball, he can create for himself and for others. He by no means is a guy that is going to be an offensive weapon. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just thinking about this second unit now. It's either going to be Ty Jerome or Sam Merrill that stays, but imagine a second unit of Lonzo Ball and either Merrill or Jerome and then DeAndre Hunter, and then hopefully the Cavs can sign a big in free agency. That is greatly needed. I do not like Dean Wade that much at all anymore. He's kind of soft and he stopped hitting his threes towards the end of last season. He's also an injury prone player. I feel like he missed like 6 weeks of last season and the year before that. Personally, I know this is a pretty crazy take, but I would prefer for this to be the rotation. I want Garland and Mitchell at the 1 and 2, Sam Merrill at the 3, DeAndre Hunter at the 4, and Evan Mobley at the 5, and then off the bench, I would love having Lonzo Ball, Strus, and Jarrett Allen. That is nearly like having 2 back-to-back starting lineups, and spacing-wise, I'm not the biggest Jarrett Allen fan, especially if he is unwilling to show up and get physical in big moments and in the playoffs. I think the Cavs should have traded him the moment that he came out with that meme where the lights were too bright or brighter than expected, whatever it was, after they lost to the Knicks. I wanted him traded, but now knowing what the Cavs do have in Lonzo Ball, and even Proctor, who they drafted, who may take some time to develop, but we all know he has shooting. Knowing the Cavs have this type of personnel, a bench of Strus, Allen, and Ball could be perfect, and it would allow for Mobley to ascend even more in the starting lineup into a bigger superstar. Now to get back to reality and talk a little more about Lonzo Ball. Obviously, we as Cavs fans don't really know what we are getting. Ball averaged 7.6 points, 3.3 assists, and 3.4 rebounds in 35 games for the Bulls this past season after a 2-year absence from that knee injury. And with 2 years remaining on a $20 million deal, Ball provides Cleveland with contract flexibility, given a second-year option within the deal. Those stats are not eye-popping at all. In fact, they are pretty bad. But coming off the injuries he came off of, where Stephen A. Smith said that he couldn't even get up off a chair or something like that, which was completely wrong. Lonzo Ball made fun of him for that. And being plugged into a really bad rotation in a Bulls team that just does not have a winning culture right now, you can't even blame him for that outcome. But now, coming to Cleveland, that is a much better situation that he will be plugged into. He will have the freedom to work himself into this offense naturally. He does not have to be a hero. There really is no pressure. And even though Cleveland is one of the top teams in the league, there is not a lot of media presence, so he will kind of get to be off the map a bit. This is the perfect scenario for Ball to get healthy, not have a ton of workload, and kind of revive himself in his career. Obviously, nothing is a guarantee, and it is likely that Ball does not get back on track. 3 years of injuries is a lot, but there's literally no risk here. We gave up Isaac Okoro to get him. I know there is a few Isaac fanboys out there that follow me. I thought he was a good guy who was good for the locker room, but the days of waiting for him to develop offensively are over. It was time for a trade like this to happen, and he did not have much value. Let's just be 100% truthful here. So this was a why not move for the Cavs front office. I love this trade. It's going to give us something to talk about over the next few months, and really now if the Cavs can sign a reasonable backup center, I think the offseason is complete. The East is wide open with all the injuries. It's now or never for the Cavs to make this work. And if the Cavs do want to make the finals, it really all comes down to Darius Garland and him being healthy in the playoffs. Because up to this point, he has never had a run in the postseason being fully healthy. I know I'll once again catch some slack for this, but I would have loved to see Garland a part of a Kevin Durant trade. At this point, it's time for some of you to get rid of the emotional ties and admit that I was right all along about Garland. He's a really good above average point guard who at times does play like an all-star. But at the end of the day, he's just a nice guy. He gets injured so much, which affects him when it really matters in the postseason. He is to me not a guy that will get this team over the top to where they want to be. 2 years ago, I was saying to trade him when he had max value, but now we are kind of stuck with him, which again, is not the worst situation to be in because he is a great player, but I just don't think he is a guy that helps this franchise. Get to their championship aspirations. But let me know in the comments below, are you guys still on the Garland train? Are you still going to come at me in the comments? Because I do think it's time for some of you guys to apologize to me, because some of you guys really tried to convince me that I was an idiot and did not know what I was talking about at all. But that's not the point of this video. I did not make this to take shots at Garland. Again, I think he's a great player, but this is about the Lonzo Ball trade, and whether you like it or not, even with the injury risk and the fact that we don't know what to expect, because of the size and frame and the skill set, this is a trade that definitely raises the ceiling of this team and maybe allows the Garland-Mitchell backcourt to actually work. That's really all I have to say about this though. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this trade, what you would grade it from A+ to an F. Me personally, I'm going to give it a B+ because I think it was a why not move. I think it gives this team a lot of potential. Definitely, as I mentioned, it heightens the ceiling. But yeah, man, I'm excited about this trade. It's always good to have some offseason buzz, especially right now when there's like not a lot going on because football's not back yet. That's really all I have to say for this one. Thank you all so much for your continued support. We are on the grind to 60,000 subscribers. And until next time, I will see you all later.